She didn't say hello, she tasted him. And that's how the galaxy noticed him. In her world, this was just a greeting. The neon glow of extraterrestrial advertisements painted a rainbow of colors across Alex River's face as he leaned against a concrete pillar beneath the bustling skybridge. Hover vehicles whizzed overhead, their engines creating a constant hum that vibrated through his entire body. He glanced at his chronometer. She was late. Figures, he muttered, running a hand through his messy, sandy blonde hair. The assignment had seemed straightforward when Lady Zara had hired him. Retrieve a stolen family artifact. A simple task for a private investigator. What he hadn't anticipated was the nighttime passion that followed the professional arrangement, or the bewildering alien customs he was now attempting to navigate. Alex adjusted his plain gray shirt, feeling underdressed among the alien inhabitants of Neo-Eden. His athletic build attracted occasional glances from passing female aliens, something he had grown accustomed to since humans had become a novelty on this planet. "You must be the human investigator," came a melodic voice from behind him. Alex turned to find himself face to face with a young humanoid alien woman. Her bright emerald skin shimmered under the artificial lights, and her large, expressive green eyes studied him with unabashed curiosity. Short, wavy, crimson hair framed her delicate features, and her form-fitting azure outfit, with its daring neckline, left little to the imagination. Alex Rivers, he confirmed, extending his hand. "You must be." Before he could finish a sentence, the alien woman stepped forward, placed her hands on his shoulders, and pressed her lips firmly against his. Her tongue entered his mouth with practiced ease, exploring with enthusiasm rather than passion. Alex's eyes widened in shock. He pulled back, nearly stumbling over his own feet. "Whoa there," he stammered, wiping his mouth with the back of his hand. "I don't even know your name. And on Earth, that kind of kiss usually indicates something intimate." The alien woman's expression shifted from confusion to horror. Her mouth formed a perfect O before she stuck out her tongue in a comical gesture of embarrassment. "Oh no," she exclaimed, her cheeks flushing a deeper shade of green. "I wasn't proposing to mate with you, human male. That's just how we Zephyrians greet new acquaintances. So, did I violate your human customs?" Alex couldn't help but laugh at the absurdity of the situation. "Just a bit. Maybe we should start over. I'm Alex, and you are Lyra Nova," she replied, carefully extending her hand in what she clearly hoped was the proper human greeting. "Former assistant to Lady Zara. I believe she sent you to speak with me about the missing cosmic crystal." Alex shook her hand, still feeling the ghost of her lips on his. "That's right. She mentioned you might have information about who took it." Lyra glanced around nervously. "Not here. Too many ears. There's a bistro around the corner. We can talk there." As they walked side by side to the crowded alien district, Alex found himself stealing glances at his new companion. There was something captivating about her beyond her obvious physical attributes, a spark of intelligence in those large green eyes, a determination in her stride. So, Alex began trying to break the awkward silence. "Is tongue kissing everyone you meet a Zephyrian thing, or just your personal style?" Lyra laughed, a sound like wind chimes in a summer breeze. "All Zephyrians greet this way. We believe taste reveals more truth than sight or sound. I can tell you consumed coffee with artificial sweeteners today, that you're slightly dehydrated, and that you're attracted to me despite your cultural shock." Alex felt heat rise to his cheeks. "That's invasive, is it?" "Your human pheromones tell me the same thing," she replied with a mischievous smile. "But don't worry, I won't kiss you again unless you ask nicely." They arrived at a small bistro tucked between two towering alien structures. The interior was dimly lit with floating orbs of bioluminescent material, and the patrons were a mix of various alien species, with humans being a distinct minority. After ordering drinks, coffee for Alex, and something that glowed purple for Lyra, they settled into a quiet corner booth. "So, about the cosmic crystal?" Alex prompted, pulling out a small notepad. "What can you tell me?" They leaned forward, her voice dropping to a whisper. "It's not just a family heirloom. It's a key to something much bigger. Lady Zara didn't tell you the whole truth." "Color me surprised," Alex replied dryly. "Beautiful alien woman hires me, seduces me, and then turns out to be hiding something. Tale as old as time. She seduced you? Lyra's eyes widened, then narrowed suspiciously. That's interesting. Zara doesn't usually take human lovers. Is that relevant to the case? It might be. The cosmic crystal isn't just a pretty gem. It's a data storage device containing coordinates to a pre-collapsed human colony ship, one that supposedly carries technology that could shift the balance of power in this sector. Alex whistled low. And here I thought I was just looking for a fancy paperweight. This is serious. Detective Rivers. If the wrong people get those coordinates. Lyra's voice trailed off as her gaze fixed on something behind him. Alex turned slightly, catching sight of two burly alien males entering the bistro. Their gray skin and protruding bone ridges marked them as Gorgons, a species known for their mercenary work. Friends of yours? Alex asked quietly. The opposite. We need to leave now. Lyra's voice was urgent as she slid out of the booth. Alex followed her lead, casually placing credits on the table as they made their way toward the back exit. The Gorgons hadn't spotted them yet, but it was only a matter of time. I'm guessing those guys want the cosmic crystal, too, Alex whispered as they slipped through the kitchen, ignoring the protests of the alien staff. They work for Vexor Thorn, a collector with particular interest in human artifacts, Lyra explained as they emerged into a narrow alleyway. And he's not known for asking nicely. As if on cue, a shout erupted from inside the bistro. Their escape had been noticed. My apartment is 3 blocks from here, Alex said, taking Lyra's hand. We can lose them in the market district. As they ran to the crowded alien marketplace, weaving between stalls and shoppers, Alex realized this case had just become far more complicated than recovering a stolen trinket, and the green-skinned woman pulling him through the crowd was clearly more than just a former assistant. What had started with an unexpected kiss was quickly evolving into something far more dangerous and potentially more rewarding than any case had taken before. Alex's apartment was a modest affair on the 23rd floor of a human-friendly residential complex. Floor-to-ceiling windows offered a panoramic view of Neo-Eden skyline, where alien architecture merged with human design sensibilities in a chaotic yet harmonious blend. Nice place, Lyra commented, wandering to the window while Alex secured the door behind them. Better than I expected for a private detective. The rent's reasonable in this sector, Alex replied, drawing the blinds closed. Plus, humans get housing subsidies as part of the Cultural Exchange Initiative. He moved to the kitchen, grabbing 2 glasses and a bottle of amber liquid. Whiskey, actual earth whiskey, cost me half a month's pay to import it. Lyra accepted the glass, sniffing it curiously before taking a sip. Her face contorted in a grimace that quickly transformed into appreciation. Fascinating. It burns, yet I want more. That's whiskey for you. Alex chuckled, taking a seat on his couch. Now, I think it's time you told me who you really are. Former assistants don't typically know about pre-collapsed colony ships or have mercenaries chasing them. Lyra sighed, her shoulders slumping slightly as she sat beside him. You're observant. I'm not just former assistant. I work for the Galactic Heritage Protection Agency. We locate and secure artifacts from pre-contact civilizations to prevent technological exploitation. And the cosmic crystal, a navigation key disguised as jewelry. The colony ship Odyssey disappeared during the early expansion era, carrying experimental technology that was considered too dangerous even then. If someone like Thorn gets those coordinates. Alex whistled low. So Lady Zara is what? A collector? A broker? Lyra corrected. She acquires artifacts and sells them to the highest bidder. When the crystal was stolen from her vault, she needed someone who could operate under the radar. So she hired me, Alex concluded, and then slept with me to ensure my loyalty. Lyra's gaze dropped to her glass. Zara is pragmatic, but I don't think that was entirely calculated. Humans are something of fascination for many alien species because we're new to the galactic community. Partly, but also because you're, she gestured vaguely at him, different. Your emotions are so raw, so unfiltered. Most species evolve to suppress emotional responses as they advance. But humans, you feel everything so intensely. Alex found himself studying Lyra's face, the subtle shifts in her expression, the the way her eyes reflected the dim light of his apartment. Despite her alien features, there was something undeniably alluring about her. "Is that why you kissed me?" he asked, his voice lower than he intended. Scientific curiosity about human emotions. Lyra's lips curved into a smile. That was a greeting, but I admit I was curious what kissing a human would be like. "And different," she replied, leaning slightly closer. "Your body temperature is higher than a Zephyrian's. Your taste is complex." The air between them seemed to thicken, charged with an electricity that transcended species. Alex found himself drawn to her, his earlier shock at her greeting now replaced by a different kind of curiosity. "Would you like to try again?" he asked. "For research purposes, of course." Lyra's eyes sparkled with mischief. "That would be very educational." "Yes." This time when their lips met, it wasn't a greeting, but an exploration. Alex was prepared for the alien sensation of her slightly cooler skin and the subtle sweetness of her breath. What he wasn't prepared for was the intensity of his response. The rush of heat that flooded through him as her hands found their way to his chest. When they finally broke apart, both were breathing harder. "That," Lyra whispered, "was definitely not a greeting." "No," Alex agreed, his voice husky. "That was something else entirely." They moved together again, cultural differences momentarily forgotten in the universal language of attraction. Her skin against his felt electric, every touch amplified by the novelty of their connection. Later, as they lay tangled in his sheets, the city lights casting a soft glow through the partially closed blinds, Alex traced patterns on Lyra's shimmering green skin. "So," he murmured, "what happens now?" Lyra propped herself up on one elbow, her crimson hair falling in waves around her face. "Now we find the cosmic crystal before Thorn does. My agency has been tracking his movements, but we've lost his trail recently. And Lady Zara, should I be worried about her?" "Zara will be focused on recovering her property. She doesn't know about my affiliation, but she's no fool. She'll realize something's amiss when you don't report back." Alex nodded, his detective's mind already mapping out possibilities. "I have contacts in the underground markets. If someone's trying to fence an artifact like the crystal, word will spread. That's why you're perfect for this," Lyra said, her fingers tracing the contours of his chest. "You move in circles my agency can't access. Using me for my connections, huh?" Alex teased, pulling her closer. "Among other qualities," she replied with a smile that made his heart race. "Your species has many admirable attributes." "Glad to be of service," he murmured against her lips. Morning would bring danger and complications, a hunt for an artifact that could change the balance of power in the galaxy. But for now, in the quiet of his apartment, Alex was content to explore the fascinating complexities of interspecies relations with the intriguing green-skinned agent who had literally kissed her way into his life. Alex awoke to sunlight streaming through his apartment windows and an empty space beside him. The sheet still held Lyra's faint scent, something like citrus and exotic spice, but had long since cooled. "Lyra," he called, sitting up and scanning the room. No answer. A knot formed in his stomach as he pulled on his jeans and moved through the apartment. The bathroom was empty. The living room, too. On the kitchen counter sat a half-empty cup of what passed for coffee in this sector, now cold. Alex ran a hand through his tousled hair, trying to quell the rising sense of unease. Maybe she had just stepped out for breakfast. Or maybe she had received orders from her agency. Then he noticed his data pad was missing from the coffee table where Head left it last night along with his case notes. "Damn it," he muttered, grabbing his shirt from the floor. As he pulled it over his head, his comm unit chimed from the bedside table. The caller ID displayed a name that made his jaw clench. Lady Zara. He hesitated before answering. The holographic image of the elegant alien woman materialized above the device. Her lavender skin almost luminescent. Her silver eyes narrowed in what might have been amusement. "Detective Rivers," she purred, her voice melodic yet cold. "I was beginning to worry you'd forgotten our arrangement." "I've been working the case," Alex replied, keeping his tone neutral, following leads. "Yes, I'm sure Lyra Nova provided many stimulating leads." Zara's smile didn't reach her eyes. Did she tell you she works for the Galactic Heritage Protection Agency? Or did she prefer the more intimate lie about being my former assistant? Alex felt his blood run cold. What are you talking about? Oh, my dear human. So trusting, so passionate. Zara's laugh was like glass breaking. Lyra Nova has never worked for me. She's Vexor Thorn's most valuable asset, his personal acquisition specialist. And you, detective, have just been thoroughly acquired. The revelation hit Alex like a physical blow. He thought of Lyra's touch, her taste, the way she looked at him with those large green eyes. Had it all been calculated? Every moment, every kiss, every whispered word in the dark. Why are you telling me this? He asked, struggling to keep his voice steady. Because unlike Ms. Nova, I actually do value your skills, detective, and I dislike seeing talent wasted. Zara's expression hardened. Thorn doesn't just want the cosmic crystal. He wants what it leads to. Technology that could shift the balance of power away from humanity's growing influence. And you care about humanity now. Alex couldn't keep the bitterness from his voice. I care about balance, detective. Humans may be new to our galactic community, but you've already proven yourself formidable. Your species adapts quickly, thinks creatively, feels deeply. These qualities make you valuable allies and dangerous enemies. Alex paced the room, processing this information. So Lyra took my notes to help Thorn find the crystal before you do. Not quite. Your notes were worthless. You had no real leads. Zara's image flickered slightly. What she took was the tracking algorithm embedded in your datapad. The one that's been quietly mapping the underground market networks you've been accessing. You bugged my equipment. Alex felt his anger rising. I hired you for your connections, detective. I simply enhanced your investigative capabilities. Alex ran a hand over his face. So what now? Thorn has my data. Lyra's gone, and I'm back to square one. Not quite. Zara's smile returned. Lyra made one critical error. She underestimated human intuition. You sensed something was off about her story, didn't you? Some detail that didn't quite fit. Alex thought back to their conversations, to the subtle inconsistencies in Lyra's tale. The way she had known too much about operations for someone who claimed to be working against her. The convenient appearance of Thorn's men at the bistro. She wanted to be followed. He realized aloud. The mercenaries at the bistro that was staged to drive us back to my apartment, where she could access my data. Precisely. And now I'm offering you a chance at redemption, detective. Find the cosmic crystal before Thorn does. Stop Lyra. It'll triple your fee. Why should I trust you? Alex demanded. You shouldn't, Zara replied simply. Trust your human instincts instead. They serve your kind remarkably well. The communication ended, leaving Alex alone with his thoughts and a lingering scent of Lyra on his sheets. He sat heavily on the edge of his bed, replaying every moment with Lyra in his mind. The passionate kiss that had started it all. Had that been calculated too? A distraction technique disguised as a cultural greeting. And yet, there had been moments of genuine connection, times when her guard seemed to drop, when her responses felt real. Or had that been wishful thinking on his part? Alex stood and moved to the window, looking out at the alien cityscape. One thing was certain. Had been played. His pride was wounded. But more than that, something deeper ached. Despite knowing her for less than a day, Lyra had gotten under his skin in a way no one had in years. He clenched his jaw, determination replacing hurt. If Lyra wanted to play games, she had learned that humans were exceptionally quick studies. And unlike many alien species, humans took betrayal personally. Very personally, Alex grabbed his jacket and gun holster. He had contacts to squeeze, informant to press, and a green-skinned Lyra to find. The hunt for the cosmic crystal had just become secondary to something far more primal, proving that humans weren't to be underestimated. The Obsidian Market was Neo-Eden's most exclusive underground auction house, a place where the galaxy's wealthiest collectors gathered to bid on items too rare, too dangerous, or too illegal for public markets. Alex had never been inside before, but he knew people who had, people who owed him favors. Dressed in a borrowed formal suit that fit his athletic frame surprisingly well, Alex blended with the elite clientele, The venue's interior gleamed with polished black stone and floating light orbs, creating an atmosphere of opulent secrecy. "Invitation, sir?" asked a tall, horned alien at the entrance. Alex presented the forged credentials his contact had provided. Marcus Blake, representing the Terran Historical Society. The scanner hummed as it passed over the chip. Alex held his breath, but the alien simply nodded and gestured him through. Inside, species from across the galaxy mingled, examining display cases containing artifacts protected by energy fields. Alex scanned the room, searching for a flash of green skin or crimson hair. He found her by a display of ancient Earth relics, a collection of pre-space flight communication devices. Lyra wore a shimmering silver gown that complemented her emerald skin, her hair styled in an elegant updo. She looked nothing like the playful, tongue-kissing alien who had greeted him beneath the skybridge. Alex approached from behind, keeping his voice low. The communicator was actually quite revolutionary for its time. Shame about the battery life, though. Lyra froze, then slowly turned. Her large green eyes widened in recognition, then narrowed with something that looked suspiciously like fear. "You shouldn't be here," she whispered, glancing nervously around the room. "Funny, I was about to say the same to you." Alex maintained a pleasant smile for any observers. "Nice dress. Does Thorn pay well for betrayal, or was stealing my data just a bonus?" They grabbed his arm, her grip surprisingly strong, and pulled him toward a quieter alcove. "You don't understand. I had no choice." "There's always a choice," Alex countered, anger simmering beneath his calm exterior. "You could have started with the truth." "The truth?" Lyra hissed. "The truth is Thorn has my sister. The truth is if I don't deliver the cosmic crystal and the coordinates it contains, he'll sell her to Void Walker slavers." Alex studied her face, looking for signs of deception. Had been fooled once already. How convenient a story. Lyra's eyes flashed. "You think I want to betray you after what we shared?" She pulled out a small device and pressed it against his wrist. A holographic image appeared between them. A young Zephyrian female bound, and clearly terrified, in a featureless cell. "My sister Lena, 19 years old, studying xenobiology at the Galactic University." Lyra's voice cracked. "Thorn took her 3 standard weeks ago." The image disappeared as she pocketed the device. "I'm not asking you to trust me, Alex. I'm asking you to help me save my sister." Alex's detective instincts warred with his human empathy. The fear in her eyes seemed genuine, but so had her passion the night before. "Why didn't you tell me this last night?" he demanded. "Thorn has monitoring tech implanted in me," she replied, tapping behind her ear. "He can't hear what I say, but he tracks my movements, my vital signs. If ID told you the truth, he would have known, and now I've disabled it temporarily. We have maybe 5 minutes before a security team notices." Alex weighed his options. If she was telling the truth, her betrayal was understandable. If she was lying again, "The cosmic crystal is being auctioned tonight, isn't it?" he asked. Lyra nodded. "Lot 37. Thorn plans to outbid everyone with the tracking data from your pad. He's already located the colony ship. He just needs the crystal to unlock its systems." "And what happens if he gets it?" "The ship contains experimental weapons technology. Thorn plans to sell it to the highest bidder, likely the Gorgon Empire. They've been looking for an edge against human expansion for decades." Alex's jaw tightened. Humanity had only joined the galactic community 30 years ago, but their adaptability and resourcefulness had already disrupted the established power structures. The Gorgons, in particular, resented human influence. "So, we need to steal the crystal before the auction," Alex concluded. Lyra's expression softened with hope. "I haven't decided if I trust you yet," Alex clarified, "but I'm not letting Thorn get those weapons." A commotion near the entrance caught their attention. 2 burly Gorgon security guards were scanning the crowd, their handheld devices sweeping methodically. "They've detected the tracker malfunction," Lyra whispered urgently. "We need to move." Alex took her hand, leading her deeper into the auction house. "Where's the crystal being kept?" "Secure Vault Sublevel 3, but we'll need biometric access." "Whose biometrics?" Lyra's gaze shifted to a tall, thin alien with pale blue skin conversing with a group of wealthy-looking collectors. Auction Master Kale, his retinal pattern and voice authorization. Alex assessed the situation with a rapid calculation that had kept him alive in countless dangerous situations. I have an idea, but you'll need to trust me. That's rich coming from you, Lyra replied, but there was no bite to her words. Inhuman, Alex said with a grim smile. We're notoriously forgiving until we're not. As the security guards moved closer, Alex pulled Lyra against him, his lips finding hers in what appeared to onlookers as a passionate embrace between lovers. Unlike their previous kisses, this one was calculated, a cover for whispered instructions. When I create a distraction, he murmured against her lips, get to the service corridor. It'll meet you there with Kale's credentials. Lyra's eyes searched his. Their faces were still intimately close. Why are you helping me after what I did? Alex's expression softened momentarily. Because despite everything, I believe you about your sister. And because humans don't abandon people in trouble, even beautiful green aliens who break their hearts. Before she could respond, he released her and moved purposefully toward the auction master, leaving Lyra staring after him with a complex mixture of guilt, gratitude, and something deeper that she wasn't ready to name. Creating a distraction in a room full of the galaxy's most paranoid collectors turned out to be surprisingly easy. Alex simply needed to spill a drink on the most temperamental species present, a Valerian ambassador whose species was known for their explosive tempers and six-limbed fighting style. The resulting chaos gave Alex just enough time to accidentally bump into Auction Master Kale, planting a microscopic scanner on the alien's retina during their apology and recording a voice sample with a device hidden in his cufflink. 10 minutes later, Alex slipped into the service corridor where Lyra waited anxiously. Did you get it? She whispered. Alex held up a small data chip, retinal pattern, voice print, and for good measure, a DNA sample from his drinking glass. Lyra's eyes widened. How did you? I wasn't always a private detective. Alex replied with a wink. Let's move. They navigated the service tunnels beneath the auction house, avoiding security patrols with a combination of Alex's stealth training and Lyra's knowledge of the building's layout. The deeper they went, the more Alex found himself watching Lyra, not just to ensure she wasn't betraying him again, but because he couldn't help admiring her focus and determination. You're staring, she whispered as they paused at a junction. Just making sure you don't disappear on me again, he replied, but his tone lacked real accusation. Lyra's expression softened. I want. Not this time. The vault entrance was guarded by 2 security droids and a biometric scanner. Alex and Lyra waited in the shadows, observing patrol patterns. The droids cycle every 3 minutes, Lyra noted. We'll have a 60-second window. Alex nodded, preparing the stolen biometrics. Once we're inside, how do we identify the crystal? ITLL be the only artifact emitting a specific frequency. I can detect it. She tapped her temple. Zephyrians can sense energy patterns. Convenient, Alex murmured. Anything else I should know about your species? A hint of mischief flickered in Lyra's eyes. Many things, but now isn't the time for a xenobiology lesson? When the droids moved to the far end of their patrol route, Alex and Lyra sprinted to the vault door. The scanner accepted Kale's biometrics without hesitation, and they slipped inside just as the droids began their return journey. The vault contained dozens of display cases, each housing artifacts of immeasurable value. Lyra moved methodically through the room, her eyes half closed in concentration. There, she finally whispered, pointing to a small case in the corner. That's it. The cosmic crystal was smaller than Alex had imagined, a polished gemstone no larger than his thumb, glowing in inner light that shifted between blue and gold. It sat on a velvet cushion protected by a force field. Can you disable the security? Alex asked. Lyra nodded, producing a small device from a hidden pocket in her gown. Stand back. The force field flickered and died. Lyra reached for the crystal, but Alex caught her wrist. Allow me, he said softly, just in case there are any surprises. Their eyes met, a silent acknowledgement passing between them. Trust was still fragile, but it was growing. Alex carefully lifted the crystal from its cushion, waiting for alarms that didn't come. He slipped it into a shielded pouch and secured it in his inner jacket pocket. That was almost too easy. He muttered as if the universe heard his challenge. Alarms suddenly blared throughout the facility. "It's not us," Lyra said, checking her device. "Someone's breached the main auction floor. Thorn, or either way, we need to move." They exited the vault to find the corridor in chaos. Security personnel rushed past, ignoring them in their haste to respond to the greater threat above. "The service exit is 3 levels up," Lyra said, leading the way. They had almost reached the exit when a group of Gorgon mercenaries rounded the corner ahead, led by a tall, imposing figure Alex recognized from security briefings. Vexor Thorn himself. "Back," Alex hissed, pulling Lyra into a side corridor. They found themselves in a small maintenance room filled with cleaning equipment. Alex quickly secured the door behind them. "There's no other exit," Lyra whispered, panic edging into her voice. "They'll find us in minutes." Alex assessed their limited options. "We need to split up. It'll create another distraction. You take the crystal, and no." Lyra interrupted firmly. "We're not separating. Not now. Talia, be reasonable. If they catch us both, and then they catch us both." Her green eyes blazed with determination. "I'm not leaving you to face Thorn alone. That's not how Zephyrians treat people they care about." The admission hung in the air between them. Alex felt something shift in his chest, a warmth that had nothing to do with the adrenaline coursing through his system. "People they care about, huh?" he echoed softly. Lyra stepped closer, her shimmering skin catching the dim light. "Among my people, when we truly care for someone, we share breath, taste, touch. It's more than just a greeting." She placed a hand on his chest over his rapidly beating heart. "What we shared last night, it wasn't just physical for me, Alex." Despite the danger surrounding them, time seemed to slow. Alex cupped her face gently, his thumb tracing the curve of her cheek. For humans," he murmured, "when we care about someone, we don't leave them behind ever." Their lips met in a kiss that contained none of the calculation of their earlier public display. This was something raw and honest, a promise made without words. When they separated, both were breathing harder, but with renewed resolve. "So, we face them together," Alex said, "but we'll need a plan." Lyra's eyes lit up as she glanced around the maintenance room. "I think I have one. How do you feel about ventilation shafts?" Alex grinned, the familiar pre-mission excitement building in his veins. "Like any good human raised on action vids, I'm a big fan." Outside, they could hear Thorn's forces methodically searching each room. They had minutes, perhaps seconds. "One more thing," Lyra said, reaching behind her ear to remove a small device. "Thorn's tracker. We can use it." Alex grin widened as he understood her plan. "You know, for someone who started our relationship with A, misunderstood kiss, you've got a devious mind. You haven't seen anything yet human," Lyra replied with a wink that promised both danger and delight in equal measure. Lyra's plan was brilliantly simple. They planted her tracking device on a maintenance drone, programming it to travel through the ventilation system to the opposite side of the building. Meanwhile, they would escape through the seldom-used waste disposal chutes that led directly to Neo-Eden's Undercity. These chutes were designed for biological waste, Lyra explained as a Pride opened the access panel. "My people are particularly sensitive to certain chemical compounds, so we insisted on separate disposal systems when this district was built. Lucky for us," Alex replied, peering down the dark tube. "Ladies first." Lyra gave him a look that transcended species barriers. "Age before beauty. Human." Alex chuckled and slid into the chute, feet first. The smooth, steep descent lasted only seconds before he landed in a cushioned collection bin filled with what appeared to be composting plant matter. Moments later, Lyra slid down beside him, her silver gown now smeared with green residue. "Not exactly the glamorous escape I imagined," she muttered, plucking a slimy leaf from her hair. They climbed out of the bin into a vast, dimly lit tunnel system. The undercity of Neo-Eden was a labyrinth of abandoned construction sites, makeshift markets and refugee settlements, home to those who couldn't afford the gleaming towers above. "This way," Alex said, orienting himself. "I know someone who can help us access the crystal." They moved quickly through the winding passages, alert for pursuers. The Undercity residents, a mix of various alien species living on society's margins, barely glanced at them. Down here, minding one's business was the first rule of survival. How far? Lyra asked after they'd been walking for nearly 20 minutes. Almost there. My contact runs a repair shop in the old human district. As they turned a corner, they nearly collided with a patrol of Gorgon mercenaries. Alex pulled Lyra into a shadowy alcove, pressing her against the wall as the heavily armed aliens passed within meters of their hiding spot. That was close, Lyra whispered, her breath warm against his neck. Alex became acutely aware of their proximity, her body against his, her scent mingling with the earthy odors of the Undercity. Despite the danger, or perhaps because of it, the attraction between them pulsed with renewed intensity. Too close, he agreed, reluctantly creating space between them once the patrol had passed. Thorne's forces are spreading through the Undercity faster than I expected. They continued more cautiously, taking less travel routes. Finally, they reached a small shop with a flickering holographic sign displaying May's tech repairs in multiple languages. Inside, a middle-aged human woman with steel gray hair and intelligent eyes looked up from a disassembled droid. "Alex Rivers," she said without surprise. "You look like you've been swimming in compost." "Hello to you, too, May," Alex replied with a grin. "We need your help." May's eyes narrowed as she assessed Lyra. "Zephyrian, huh? Interesting choice of company." "She's with me," Alex said firmly. Clearly, May locked the shop door and activated a security field. "What kind of trouble are you in this time?" Alex produced a cosmic crystal from his pocket. "We need to access the data in this." May whistled low. "That's not trouble. That's galactic-level chaos you're holding." She took the gem carefully. "Give me a few minutes." While May worked at her cluttered bench, Alex and Lyra cleaned up as best they could use in the shop's small washroom. "Your friend doesn't seem to like," Lyra observed, dabbing at a stain on her gown. "May doesn't like most people," Alex replied. "But she's the best tech specialist in the Undercity, and she's human. We stick together out here." "Is that why you're helping me? Because humans stick together?" Alex paused, considering her question. "No, I'm helping you because it's the right thing to do and because he hesitated, then met her gaze directly. Because what's between us feels real, even if it started with a misunderstood kiss." Lyra's expression softened. She stepped closer, placing her hand on his chest in what he now recognized as a distinctly Zephyrian gesture of intimacy. "Among my people, we believe that true connections transcend cultural misunderstandings. That first kiss may have meant different things to each of us, but what came after, that was no misunderstanding." Alex covered her hand with his own, feeling the slightly cooler temperature of her skin. "No, it wasn't." The moment was interrupted by May's voice. "If you two are done with your interspecies romance novel, I've got something." They returned to the main room where May had the crystal connected to a complex array of equipment. A holographic display showed a star map with a pulsing coordinate marker. "It's not just coordinates," May explained. "It's a complete navigational package. Star charts, gravitational anomalies, approach vectors. This would take you right to the Odyssey." "Can you download it?" Alex asked. "Already did." May handed him a small data chip. "But there's more. This gem contains a message apparently intended for whoever found it." She activated a second display. A holographic image appeared. A human man in a captain's uniform, his expression grave. "This is Captain Daniel Rivers of the colony ship Odyssey." The recording began. Alex froze. "Rivers, your ancestor," Lyra asked softly. "Has to be," Alex whispered, transfixed by the image of a man who shared his jawline, his eyes. The message continued. "If you're accessing this record, you found a cosmic crystal, the key to our location. The Odyssey carries experimental technology that could change the balance of power in the galaxy. We chose to disappear rather than let it fall into the wrong hands. If you're human, know that we await the day when humanity is ready to use this power responsibly. If you're not," the captain's expression hardened, "then I suggest you reconsider your intentions." The message ended, leaving them in stunned silence. "Well, May finally said that complicates things." Before Alex could respond, The shop security system chimed a warning. May checked the external cameras and cursed, "You've got company. Lots of it." The monitors showed Gorgon mercenaries approaching from one direction, and Zara's agents from another converging on the shop. "Is there another way out?" Lyra asked urgently. "My private shuttle is in the back hangar." May replied, "It's small, but ITLL get you off planet." "Come with us," Alex urged. May shook her head. "Someone needs to slow them down. Besides, this is my home." She pressed a small device into Alex's hand. "Emergency beacon. If you find the Odyssey, use it. The human defense fleet will respond." "May, go, Alex. Find your ancestor's ship. Keep it safe for humanity." Alex embraced the older woman briefly, then took Lyra's hand. As they hurried toward the hangar, a tremendous crash indicated the front door had been breached. "What now?" Lyra asked as they boarded the small shuttle. Alex inserted the data chip into the navigation system. The coordinates from the cosmic crystal appeared on the display. Now, he said, determination hardening his features. "We find the Odyssey before Thorn, or we save your sister." As the shuttle's engines hummed to life, Alex cast one last glance at the shop where May was buying them time. The discovery of his connection to the Odyssey had changed everything. This wasn't just about recovering a stolen artifact anymore. It was about his heritage, humanity's future, and the woman beside him, whose mistaken greeting had started it all. May's shuttle emerged from hyperspace into a remote star system shrouded in a nebula of swirling purple and gold gases. The coordinates had led them to the edge of charted space, far from established trade routes or colonial outposts. There, Lyra pointed to the navigation display. "That's not a natural formation." Alex adjusted their course toward what appeared to be a small planetoid partially hidden within the nebula's embrace. As they drew closer, the true nature of the object became clear. A massive colony ship, its hull weathered by centuries in space, but unmistakably of human design. "The Odyssey," Alex whispered, a strange sense of homecoming washing over him. After all these years, their approach triggered an automated docking sequence, guiding their shuttle into a cavernous hangar bay that showed signs of recent activity. "Someone's been here," Lyra observed as they disembarked, noting the well-maintained equipment. "Or never left," Alex replied, drawing a sidearm. "Stay close." They moved cautiously through the ship's corridors, following directional markers toward the command center. The air was breathable, the gravity and life support systems functioning perfectly despite the centuries that had passed since the Odyssey disappeared. "This doesn't make sense." Lyra said, "This ship should be a derelict, not a functioning vessel." Before Alex could respond, a security door ahead of them slid open, revealing a young woman with familiar green skin and crimson hair. "Lena," Lyra cried, rushing forward to embrace her sister. Alex kept his weapon ready, suspicious of the too convenient reunion. "How is she here?" Lena pulled back from her sister's embrace, her expression grave. "They brought me here 3 days ago. They're expecting you." "Who's expecting us?" Alex demanded. His answer came in the form of footsteps approaching from both directions. From one end of the corridor appeared Lady Zara, flanked by her security detail. From the other emerged Vexor Thorn with his Gorgon mercenaries. Detective Rivers, Zara greeted him coolly. "I see you found your way to the family reunion. This doesn't have to end in bloodshed," Thorn added, his voice surprisingly reasonable. "We all want the same thing." Alex positioned himself protectively in front of the Zephyrian sisters. "Somehow I doubt that." Actually, came a new voice from behind them. "You do." They turned to see a tall, distinguished human man in a uniform similar to the one Captain Rivers had worn in the holographic message. His face bore the unmistakable Rivers family features, though his hair was silver with age. Commander Samuel Rivers. The man introduced himself. "Daniel Rivers was my great-grandfather. Welcome to the Odyssey, cousin." Alex lowered his weapon slightly, stunned. "You're alive." "The crew survived." "More than survived," Samuel replied. "We thrived. The Odyssey was designed as a generational ship capable of sustaining a community for centuries if necessary. When my great-grandfather discovered what the experimental technology aboard could do, he made a decision to remove us from the equation until humanity was ready. And what exactly does this technology do? Zara asked, her silver eyes gleaming with interest. Samuel gestured for them to follow. It's easier to show you. He led them to Command Center, a vast chamber dominated by a central holographic display. With a few commands, the display activated, showing a three-dimensional representation of what appeared to be a defensive shield system. The Adaptive Defense Matrix, Samuel explained. It can analyze any weapon's technology and instantly generate countermeasures. In the wrong hands, it could render a species invincible in warfare. In the right hands, it could ensure peace through mutual vulnerability. The ultimate deterrent, Thorne mused. No wonder the Gorgon Empire wants it. And no wonder you orchestrated this elaborate scheme to find it, Alex said, pieces falling into place. You never intended to sell it to the highest bidder. You wanted it for the Empire all along. Thorne smiled thinly. The Gorgons have watched humanity's rapid expansion with concern. Your species adapts too quickly, innovates too readily. You're a threat to the established order. And you, Zara? Lyra asked, what's your stake in this balance? The lavender-skinned alien replied, the technology should belong to no single species. It should be shared, studied, replicated. Samuel shook his head. That was never an option. The Matrix was designed with human neural patterns as its interface. Only humans can operate it, which is why I needed a Rivers, Thorne revealed, nodding to Alex. Your genetic lineage is the key to accessing the system. You used my sister to get to him, Lyra realized, anger flashing in her eyes. A necessary manipulation, Thorne admitted without remorse. Though I didn't anticipate your genuine attachment to the human, Alex mind raced, evaluating their options. They were outnumbered, outgunned, and trapped between two powerful factions. There's something you should know, Samuel said quietly to Alex. The Matrix isn't just a defensive system. It's been monitoring galactic communications for centuries, learning, adapting. It's detected a threat beyond our known space. A species that makes the Gorgons look benevolent by comparison. They'll be here within a decade. So that's why you orchestrated this. Alex realized you needed to bring us all here. Samuel nodded. The coming threat will require a united response. Humans, Zephyrians, Gorgons, all species working together. A convenient story, Thorne scoffed. The Matrix doesn't lie, Samuel replied, activating another display showing intercepted communications in an alien language none of them recognized. See for yourself. As Thorne and Zara studied the evidence, Alex pulled Lyra and Lena aside. I need to activate the emergency beacon, he whispered. The human defense fleet can be here in hours. And then what? Lyra asked. War. Alex shook his head. Negotiation from a position of strength. Understanding passed between them, the kind that transcended their cultural differences and spoke to a connection they'd forged through danger and intimacy. Do it, Lyra nodded. While the others were distracted, Alex activated May's beacon. Within moments, the ship's sensors detected multiple hyperspace signatures approaching. What have you done? Thorne demanded as alarms sounded. Created options, Alex replied calmly. We can fight each other over this technology, or we can recognize a greater threat and work together. The command center's main screen showed a fleet of human warships emerging from hyperspace and surrounding the Odyssey. This is Admiral Helena May of the Human Defense Fleet. Came a familiar voice over the communication system. Surrender your weapons and prepare to be boarded. May? Alex laughed. You crafty old mechanic, Admiral? Now, actually, Samuel explained with a smile. She's been our contact in human space for years, preparing for this day. As Thorne's mercenaries and agents reluctantly disarmed, Alex turned to Lyra. So he said with a half-smile, still think tongue-kissing is just a greeting. Lyra's green skin flushed a deeper emerald among my people. Yes, but I've come to appreciate the human interpretation. She stepped closer, her voice dropping to a whisper. In fact, am finding many human customs. Fascinating. Cultural exchange is important. Alex agreed, his arms encircling her waist. Very important, she murmured against his lips before kissing him. A kiss that was definitely not a greeting, but a promise of things to come. Later, As human diplomatic and scientific teams arrived to begin negotiations with Thorn, Zara, and the Odyssey crew, Alex and Lyra found a quiet moment alone in an observation deck overlooking the nebula. "What happens now?" Lyra asked, her head resting on his shoulder as they gazed at the swirling cosmic gases. "Now," Alex replied, "humanity takes its place in the galaxy, not as conquerors, but as protectors. The Matrix will be used as my ancestor intended, to defend all species against threats, not to dominate them. And us," the large green eyes searched his. Alex smiled, tracing the curve of her cheek with his finger. "Cultural misunderstandings aside, I think we figure out how to communicate pretty well." "We have," she agreed with a mischievous smile. "Though I still have much to learn about human customs." "And I about Zephyrian ones," Alex replied. "For instance, how do Zephyrians say I love you?" Lyra's expression softened. She placed her hand over his heart in the gesture he now recognized as deeply intimate in her culture. "They don't say it," she explained. "They show it. Every day, in every action." Alex covered her hand with his own. "I think I can adapt to that custom." As their lips met again in a kiss whose meaning they both fully understood, Alex reflected on how a simple cultural misunderstanding had led to the discovery of his heritage, a potential alliance that could save the galaxy, and most importantly, a love that bridged the stars. Some greetings, it seemed, were worth the initial awkwardness.